and welcome to Kathy's Corner again, where I'm giving you the synopsis of my book that is entitled The Thought, the Dreams, the Aspirations, the Joy, the Pain, the Diary of a Real Black Woman. But it is not just for black women, it's for my sisters one and all. Last time we left off, I had introduced you to Ntozake Shange, and I had given you a definition of her name. She who comes with things, and she who walks like a lion. And I had mentioned that all women really want is to be loved with all our stuff. Now, for many of you readers, you may not know who this marvelous, beautiful, spirited woman was. So for this reason, let me give you just a little background on who Ntozake Shange really is. Her name is Paulette Williams. She was born October 18th, 1948 in Trenton, New Jersey. Her family moved to St. Louis, Missouri. However, by the time she was 13, she had moved back to New Jersey, where she graduated from Trenton Central High School in 1966, the year I was born. Shange enrolled at Barnard College. She graduated cum laude in American Studies, then earned a master's degree in the same field from the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. However, Shange's college years were not all pleasant. She married during her first year in college, but the marriage did not last. Depressed over her separation and with a keen sense of bitterness and alienation, as we have all felt as women, she attempted suicide. In 1971, having come to terms with her depression and alienation, Shange changed her name, embracing feminism, opened doors for Shange. In 1975, Shange moved to New York City, where in that year her first and most well-known play was produced for colored girls who have contemplated suicide when their rainbow wasn't enough. First produced off-Broadway, the play soon moved on to Broadway at the Booth Theater for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow isn't enough. Was a 20-part poem that chronicled the lives of black women and all women in the United States. Not only did her book become a stage play, Tyler Perry made a motion picture based on the collection of poems. Here are the 40 years celebrating Shange's work at its best. Let us look at some of her works. One of her most profound writings was The Latent Rapist. Here, Shange details problems that for years existed in only the African American community, but here I kind of disagree with her. I think it existed in all cultures. However, in today's times, as I just said, this has crossed all racial boundaries. It has found its way into all society, all races, nationalities, and religions. Within the African American community, as well as others, for far, far too long, the secrets of sexual assault committed against females have been buried deep within the walls, the hearts, the minds of the community, in the family. You know, that uncle that you don't go around, or that cousin that you watch your kids around. Shange's poems, in her poems, she brings this murky secret to life. And the acknowledgement that often family and friends commit these crimes. Shange also addresses the widely conceived notion held by a male-dominant society, where the old ideologies that existed in the 18th century have found their way into the 21st century. The notion that if a woman says that she has been a victim, society rapidly responds by turning their attention away from the actions of the perpetrator and focuses in on the actions of the victim. Although openly, many within her circle will show support, there are others that will question this act, especially if committed by a friend or an acquaintance. And right here at this point, I know that many of you that are watching this know far too well what I am speaking of. Often this leaves the woman questioning herself. In this poem, Shange does an excellent job in presenting such questions and putting a face to a rapist while addressing the fears. Her works in literature and playwrights have opened many doors for all, black women as well as all women. Her contributions could not be restricted to helping one specific arena. She allowed women to express themselves beyond the facets of what humanity deemed poor. Reading some of her literary works demonstrates that Ntozake Shange is every woman. She expresses the various emotions of all women with regards to rape. I mentioned this. I'm going to stop here. I mentioned this because some of you are reading my introduction. In this case, you're listening to my introduction. And you have already been victimized by someone in your family, a date, or someone you knew. Oftentimes, just now with the Me Movement, but look how many years that myself and others have suffered at the hands of a family member or a friend. See, when we think of a rapist, we think of this hideous, dark person that lurks around. But a lot of times, as women with children, we open the door and let the rapist in. And then our children become sexually assaulted because we put ourselves in that position because we're looking for that knight in shining armor. And then there are times when these rapists are charming, manipulative, sociopathic, and therefore we feel comfortable with them because they say the right things at the right times and they make everything seem all right. So I thank Mrs. Shange, and may she rest in peace, because she brought to light during a time when this was all a secret. So, as for now, my followers, I asked you to become a Patreon, subscribe to my Kathy's Corner, published every Friday, and to get notifications. And finally, if you look behind me, you will see that my psychodynamic book is being published and print on Amazon. It is also on Kindle. So, until next time, this is concluding Kathy's Corner.